The twin suns of Kepler 442b cast long shadows across the crimson plains as Ava's ship lay in ruins behind her. Smoke billowed from the wreckage, a testament to the catastrophic engine failure that had forced her emergency landing on this primitive world. The Valorian scientist had been conducting routine botanical surveys when her vessel's power core inexplicably overloaded, sending her spiraling toward the planet's surface. Now, as she stumbled through the alien vegetation, her azure skin glistening with a sheen of panic-induced perspiration, Ava realized her predicament had worsened considerably. The ground trembled beneath her feet, and the distinctive grunting sounds behind her grew louder with each passing second. The creatures pursuing her were unlike anything in the Galactic Federation's extensive xenobiology databases. They resembled the ancient Earth animals called boars, but these specimens stood nearly 2 meters tall at the shoulder, their tusks gleaming like obsidian blades in the fading light. Their eyes burned with predatory intelligence as they crashed through the undergrowth, closing the distance between themselves and their quarry. Eva's legs burned with exhaustion. Her people, the Valorians, were scholars and scientists, not warriors or runners. Their physical capabilities paled in comparison to most species in the known galaxy. She had perhaps minutes before the beasts overtook her, and her personal shield generator had been damaged in the crash. Death seemed inevitable. Then she heard it, a sound that cut through the chaos like a blade through silk. The distinctive whine of a plasma rifle, followed by 3 precise shots that echoed across the plains. Luis had been tracking the herd for the better part of the afternoon. The human surveyor had established a small research outpost on Kepler 4M42b 6 months prior, studying the planet's ecosystem for potential colonization. He'd learned to respect the megaboars, as he called them, keeping his distance and observing their behavioral patterns from afar. When his motion sensors detected the crash, Luis had immediately grabbed his gear and headed toward the coordinates. The Federation had protocols about first contact and rescue operations, but out here on the frontier, protocols often meant the difference between life and death, and not in a good way. Through his rifle's scope, he spotted Eva just as the lead boar prepared to charge. Without hesitation, Luis fired 3 shots in rapid succession. The plasma bolt struck the ground directly in front of the creatures, creating a wall of superheated earth and flame. The boars squealed and recoiled, their primitive brains recognizing the danger. "Run!" Luis shouted, emerging from his cover and sprinting toward Eva. "Toward me now!" Eva didn't need to understand the alien language to comprehend the urgency in his voice. She changed direction, her lungs screaming for oxygen as she pushed her body beyond its limits. The human male was unlike any species she'd encountered, his movements efficient and powerful, his stance radiating confidence despite the overwhelming odds. Luis fired again, this time above the boars' heads, the bright plasma bolt serving as both deterrent and distraction. He grabbed Eva's arm as she reached him, and she was startled by the strength in his grip, firm but not painful, protective rather than possessive. "My cruiser is 200 meters north," Luis said, pointing toward a rocky outcropping. "Can you make it?" Ava nodded, though her translator implant was still offline from the crash. She understood his intent, if not his words. Together they ran. The boars regrouped quickly, their territorial instincts overriding their fear of the plasma fire. The largest of the pack, a massive brute with scarred hide and broken tusks, bellowed a challenge and charged. The ground shook with the thunder of their approach. Luis and Ava crested the rocky rise, and there it sat, a sleek human cruiser, its hull painted in the deep blues and silvers of independent surveyors. The ship was small by military standards but represented cutting-edge human engineering, a testament to humanity's rapid technological advancement since joining the Galactic Federation. "Inside," Luis commanded, slapping the external release. The boarding ramp descended with a pneumatic hiss. They scrambled aboard just as the lead boar reached the ship's perimeter. Luis activated the defense grid, and a shimmering energy barrier sprang to life around the cruiser. The boar slammed into it at full speed, the impact sending it tumbling backward with an indignant squeal. Inside the cruiser's climate-controlled interior, Ava collapsed against the bulkhead, her chest heaving. Luis quickly moved to the pilot's seat, his hands dancing across the holographic controls with practiced ease. The cruiser's engines hummed to life, and the ship lifted smoothly from the ground. Through the viewport, Eva watched the frustrated boars circle below, growing smaller as the cruiser gained altitude. She turned to her rescuer, finally able to study him properly. The human was tall by her species standards, with dark hair and eyes that seemed to hold depths of determination. His face bore the weathered look of someone who'd spent considerable time in harsh environments, yet there was kindness in his expression as he glanced back at her. "You're safe now," Louis said, though he knew she probably couldn't understand him yet. He tapped his own temple, then pointed to a medical bay visible through an open doorway. "Let's get you checked out and fix that translator." Eva's analytical mind, even in her exhausted state, registered the implications of what had just occurred. This human, this supposedly average member of one of the Federation's newest species, had just accomplished what would have been impossible for most Valorians. He'd tracked her crash, assessed the situation, executed a rescue under hostile conditions, and done it all with a calm efficiency that spoke of either extensive training or remarkable natural capability. Perhaps both. As Louis set course for the nearest Federation outpost, engaging the autopilot before turning to help Eva to the medical bay, she realized something that would later form the basis of her most controversial research paper. Humanity's reputation as the Federation's most unpredictable and dangerous species wasn't mere propaganda or fear-mongering. It was a simple statement of fact. And in that moment, as the human named Louise carefully tended to her injuries with surprising gentleness, Eva found herself grateful that humans had chosen cooperation over conquest. The galaxy, she suspected, had no idea how fortunate it truly was. The cruiser streaked across Kepler 442b's crimson sky, carrying its unlikely pair toward safety, while below, the Boars returned to their territory, already forgetting the strange encounter with the apex predator they'd never seen coming.